recording. Okay. Okay, Lloyd, go ahead. Did you have a high concept in mind, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had it already for his
Okay.
description. It was just cocky kung fu monk. You know, maybe it needs more. I don't know, but that seems to describe him pretty well.
Um, did did you have any reason to incorporate any? Because what I was saying before, I don't know if you read it, but when you changed Google accounts,
Mhm.
the posts that you made before all vanished.
Oh,
So,
okay, yeah.
yeah, so a lot of the
Um,
background stuff that you had posted for
it's gone.
Fang
Yeah.
vanished. Yeah. So what I was asking is that did you want to incorporate any of his the monastery, any of the background stuff into
Mhm.
any of his aspects? Because the first one is basically it's more or less about you. Okay, the
Mhm.
first aspect. Okay, the second one you can tie into one of the other guys, and then the third one you can tie into one of the other characters. So if he's a cocky kung fu monk, that's fine. Um, I don't see a issue with that at all. The cocky kind of explains or gives us a hint into his personality.
Mhm.
Of course, kung fu is we know is fighting. We'll see. Okay, does he have a fighting style specifically?
Yeah, he's got the five animals that he
Okay,
uses, right?
okay. So okay. So let's
Maybe
check.
like animal style monk or something like that.
Didn't you have that before or something?
Um, no, I had it written down for him like as a just a description thing.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I meant yeah, one of the posts I made was about it that he's
Okay.
got five animals that he uses.
Okay.
Um, so I had that, and then yeah, so I could write that in maybe.
Okay, because that's just and this is how I do it. Other people may do it differently, but if what I try to do, just like when we were doing the initial character creation for 5e, I was trying to basically pull stuff out of you guys to
Hmm.
to give me, to give us some more ideas, because the other guys had like their goals and some of their other stuff, which we're gonna use to
Yeah.
see if we can use for aspects and stuff. So hang on one second. Let me look at this and I want to
So
look at
his story is that he was like pretty cocky in the monastery, and that he would fight two or three guys, and that he would show off all the time and like do
Okay, there's the
backflips
cocky
and
part. Okay, yeah,
right.
okay.
And then he killed a guy or two guys in training. Um, so like he kind of was like he didn't let back, he didn't hold back one day, and he just accidentally, I guess,
Okay.
but not entirely accidentally, showed too much of his strength and killed two of the novices, whatever, and that's why he's out of the monastery because
Ah,
he
okay.
he was unable to like
Restrain
control
himself.
himself, right? And that's the major part for most martial arts is like knowing it but not having to use it, and like controlling yourself and being disciplined about it. And he wasn't. He kind of let go and got a bit showy and a bit floppy, and then he killed two people because of it.
Okay.
So it's more like undisciplined
Yep.
Hmm.
monk of the five
Yeah.
animals,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
cocky
That
might be more of a trouble.
Mm.
Noel.
But it could be the other way around.
Undisciplined could be in trouble too, though.
The trouble might
Mm,
be something like Ghosts of the Past or something, because he definitely
That's
haunts them.
true.
He hasn't told any of the party about it.
Ah,
Um,
okay. Okay.
and he's worried about if they meet anybody and that comes out, what they'll think of him.
Okay. All right. So actually, we'll put that in there. And for his trouble, we'll put in Ghosts of the Past. And man, my player's handbook is falling apart already, guys. Just so you know.
Really?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Not happy about that.
mm.
Yep. I mean, is there anything wrong with opening up and letting it sit on the table? I don't think that's out of the
Wouldn't think so.
ordinary.
No, yeah.
Shouldn't be.
That's what it's
Yeah.
for.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Um. Okay. All right. So, uh, now saying that he's a kung fu monk, that implies that there are other types of monks out there, kind of.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
Specify,
it should be
right?
more specific. So yeah, five animals maybe is better. Monk of the
Cocky,
five
cocky
animals.
monk of the cocky monk of the five animals. Cocky animal style monk. Uh,
Maybe
yeah,
if we named the monastery, then he'll be
yeah.
a cocky monk of the X monastery.
Okay. What? All right.
And
What's come up?
that's yeah.
It's got to be
um,
something good because. All right. Well, let's think about it then. Okay. That's what we're here for. So,
like,
uh,
should it be a Chinese name for the monastery?
it's up to you. I mean, what did you have pictured in your mind? Because in the world, okay, the Asian culture, is a mishmash, but it's on an island itself to the east of the main continent. Okay, so being that that Fang belongs to this monastery, it means that either these monks were outcasts or they left for some reason to go to this Western uh,
Hmm.
uh, land
Yeah.
and started their own martial arts school for some reason. We don't know why yet.
Hmm.
And that's what we need to do because, like I said, your spotlight's coming up now, so
Yeah.
we kind of need to dial this in too. So I don't know. What do you think? What sounds good to you? Is
Hmm.
there a more sinister reason that they're here, or are
Like,
they
it
on a
could be.
mission
I
of
was thinking, maybe they, because that's what
enlightenment?
happened with real monks is that it wasn't sinister, but like, they went to the mountains to retreat and meditate, and then they were getting hassled by bandits, so they had to develop these styles. So maybe it's something like that. They are the progenitors of this style, and it hasn't been
Oh
around that
wow.
long.
Okay, so they're not tied to any other. Okay, they are. Okay.
They might have been a religious organization that then split into, this sort of martial
Okay.
arm of it.
Okay. So it developed the monastery developed its own martial style. Okay. All right. And I don't know what you would call him actually. I need to do some research. But is the leader
The
of
abbot.
this month the abbot? Thank you. Okay. It would still be an abbot. Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So the abbot is he? What is he the progenitor of the style itself? And
Maybe.
then don't forget we still kind of have the tie-in where the monastery was uh they were some of the monks were actually going around
Hunting tieflings and stuff.
hunting tieflings. Yeah. Yeah. So
So, like, yeah, they could have been quite a devout arm of a certain religious organization,
okay.
and then they came here. Maybe they were already kind of militarized, or they were like a split from
Hmm.
what is usually a peaceful organization, and they took. I mean, this happens in real life as well. They took like a bit of the text or
Hmm.
the scripture, and they were like, "This is the really important part," and then they focused on that and became,
Okay.
militarized about it.
Okay.
Hey, wasn't one of your things being able to fight mages really well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that could be something too.
That could be something too, because I think that works with the tiefling thing. Like, it's anti occult, anti
Well,
evil
tieflings
magic.
probably at first glance are considered to be well, demonic,
Yeah. Hmm.
evil.
Hmm.
So is it more of an anti magic or is it more focused as an anti what fiendish? I
Yeah.
don't know what they call it in fifth edition now.
Yeah, they're
You
fiends,
know,
right?
I think so. You're
Hmm.
supposed to know, man. As many 5e games as you run, you should know.
Yeah. Well, fiends is anything that's like a devil.
Yeah, right. That's what I thought, but I wasn't
They're
sure.
elementals now.
Okay, okay. Um,
Um.
so what do you think? What
So
do
yeah,
you feel in your gut?
I like the idea of them being like psycho devout about something,
Okay,
and
that's
then
fine.
and
Okay,
then he's not into that. He wasn't into that. He was into the kung fu part.
okay.
You know,
Hmm.
and that could definitely be a tie-in as to why as well he was removed.
Okay.
Because maybe they are like really harsh in their training and stuff.
Hmm.
But then when he did that, and he also wasn't, into the religious angle, they were like, okay,
Hmm.
you're not welcome here anymore.
Well, they could have told him, just like I think we kind of touched on earlier, was that he was supposed to actually kill uh, uh, Sam's
Elgin.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eldrin. Yeah, right? Or is that wrong?
Right. Yeah. 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 And he
So
was like a baby, so Fang didn't do it.
right, so Fang didn't do it, and that was probably the last straw,
Hmm.
and they probably kicked him out. So we could say that was the ultimate reason. The fact that he was undisciplined and heavy-handed and didn't have restraint and everything, that didn't help matters.
Hmm. Yeah.
but but once he kind of like disobeyed a holy order, pretty much, you
Hmm.
know, that was the last straw.
That makes
So
sense.
okay, all right, okay, okay. So Fang disobeyed a holy order from the abbot. Parenthesis to kill the defenseless tiefling babe.
So
And okay, go ahead.
he's got his best stance, the one that he doesn't really use because it's the most dangerous one, is the Golden Dragon. So maybe
Okay,
it's the Order of the
there
Golden
you go.
Dragon, or the
There
Order of
you
the Most
go.
Radiant. Because Chinese
Radiant
tend to have,
Dragon.
yeah, the most radiant and golden holy dragon.
Okay.
You know the way they have these, like, it's
Yep.
um, super powerful god fist style or
Yep.
something.
Yeah.
So like,
Right. Okay.
so yeah, the Order of the Most Radiant Golden Dragon. I think
Golden
that
Dragon.
sounds
Okay.
appropriate.
Okay. All right. Order of. Okay. All right. That's cool.
So
Okay.
then he could be undisciplined Golden Dragon monk.
There you go. There you go. There you go. That's it right there. There you go. There. See, it works. Just gotta talk it out.
Yeah.
Undisciplined golden
And it's funny because people
dragon.
outside of the order see him as
There
like
you go.
a poster boy for discipline because he's like totally rigid in his training and his
Hmm.
meditations and stuff. But
Hmm.
compared to those guys, he's probably just like super chill. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. They take it to the next level or next
Yeah.
two levels. Okay. So then, just to get a little bit more out of the way here for my benefit. Um, so did Fang did he go to extreme measures to well, okay, here we'll just talk this out. In my mind, if he was on a mission to kill this tiefling along with his progenitors, um, uh, and he decided he wasn't going to kill this defenseless infant.
Hmm.
Um, let's say the two monks that were with him, what happened?
Well, maybe those are the guys he killed,
Oh, okay, all right.
right? Maybe that's his thing. It
Okay.
wasn't a training exercise. Maybe they tried to make him do it, and he
Okay.
said no, I won't. And then they like tried to force him, and then he got violent.
Okay. There you go. There
So
you
instead
go.
of killing the guys in training, that gives him a better reason too than just being a super strong idiot.
Okay. All right. Hey, that's good by me. That gives me
So
more than
then
enough ammo.
that's the way maybe he didn't go back. After that,
That's what I was getting at. So
instead of being
he's
kicked out,
gone.
he didn't go back. Yeah.
He's gone. Yeah, he's gone. Okay. All right. Okay. Um. All right. So okay. All right. So undisciplined golden dragon monk for his high concept is beautiful. Uh, Ghosts of the Past trouble. Um, that is pretty good. That it's very easily compelled.
Hmm.
In what way do you think? Well, actually, here, yeah, we'll do this. Okay, so undisciplined golden dragon monk. So it's obvious that that can be invoked for your fighting style.
Hmm.
Okay, easily.
Yeah.
Any kind of lore rolls about anything related to the religion,
Hmm.
easily invoked. Compelled, he's undisciplined. That's
Yeah.
easy. So
Yeah.
that's good.
And even the
Go.
Golden Dragon Monk, for if there's like a wizard or something,
Yep.
or a
Hmm.
demon or something, he's got to
Yeah,
go for it.
exactly. Hey, I heard of you guys. Hey, you guys killed my, second cousin's nephew. Exactly. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So for his trouble, Ghosts of the Past. Now, I can think of how that can be compelled
Right.
because
It's hard
it's
to
a
invoke
secret.
now.
Exactly, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
How do you think that could be invoked, or can you think of any way?
Hmm. Um.
How is that could that be turned into kind of like a positive?
I don't
Um,
know if it could. I
Ghost.
can't.
Well, okay, Ghosts of the Past. What's it really talking about? It's inferring to the deeds that Fang did in the past, right?
Right. Yeah.
The bad deeds, basically,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I think he like regrets being in the order a little bit because he
Okay,
kind of once he left was like, damn, that's some dark stuff they were into. You know.
right.
They were
Um,
like they were up to killing babies and stuff. That was why was I in there? Um.
okay.
And then he had to
Uh,
defend himself against them as well. And then
yeah.
he ended up killing some people, and he's not happy about that.
I mean, I can see some ways that it can be invoked in certain circumstances because you can say that in general, generally speaking, what do we do a lot? We draw upon our past experiences and our past memories in order to hopefully not make the same mistakes over again.
Yeah.
So I can see how that can be invoked.
Hmm.
So I mean, we can go with that. I mean, that's fine. It definitely is a trouble though, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's vague enough that uh, we can still uh, we can work with it. It's not overly specific, but it's not super super vague though. So I think it's okay.
Okay.
I think that's good. Um, okay, so then for his, did you have any of the other aspects yet or no?
I had written them down. I wonder if they're still
Okay.
there
Okay.
on the Copper Coast page
Oh,
somewhere.
you did? Oh, okay.
Let's see if I can find them.
Or you didn't put it on your character sheet, did you?
No, I
Oh
did
no.
not.
Okay. Okay.
Was it in this thread? Da-da-da-dum. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I have some stuff here. So,
Okay.
oh yeah, I have
Yeah.
Swift as the coursing river, go big or go home, and five animals kung fu were the ones that I had.
Swift as a coursing river.
So that's to suggest his monk speed. Monks are super quick.
Mhm. Go big or go home. And then what was the last one?
Five animals kung fu, but we kind of have that in the high concept.
Yeah, we kind of that's kind of implied. So we'll put a question mark on that one. So Swift as a coursing river implies many things. Not only is he fast, but coursing rivers can also be, powerful, which means a lot too. You know, they can be powerful, they can be steady, they can also be stubborn.
Yep.
So that one's not bad. I can think of invokes and compels for that.
Right, you can definitely invoke that because it
Yeah.
could represent his way he thinks as well. He doesn't
Yep.
think about things a lot; he just acts.
Okay, that'll work. Okay. So go big or go home. What's that all about?
So that's to represent the fact that he's always backflipping and kicking off
Oh,
walls
his
and stuff.
yeah. Okay. All
A
right.
showman, kind of.
Okay. That's fine. Okay. As long as we all understand what that means. That okay, I can see that. So, um, as an invoke, how do you see it being used?
So if there's like an easy way to do something or a dramatic way to do something, you've got to
Hmm.
make him do the dramatic way.
Okay.
So if there's
Okay.
like, if there's like a little bridge across a little river, and then there's like a
Hmm.
rock that slants,
Hmm.
he's got to run up the rock and do three flips in the air and land on the other side instead of walking across it. You know,
Okay. All right.
um,
Okay.
and I think it also represents the fact that he wants to fight the big guys. He wants to fight the bosses. He doesn't
Yeah.
care about the little guys, about the mooks. He just wants to fight the big bad in
Okay.
single combat.
Okay. All right. Got it. Okay. That's good. All right. So then we just need one more form then.
Did you say we
So
wanted some to tie in with other players?
yeah. Well, yeah. It would typically that's how you would do it.
Because we could have
But the thing is that you would say, okay, his first adventure is basically his solo scene, or solo
Okay.
premiere, you know.
Mhm.
So that would typically be an aspect that would just kind of reflect, like what Swift as a coursing river does. It reflects something about him specifically.
Yeah.
Then for the next two aspects, typically what you would do is you would basically describe a story, or an adventure that you had with one of the other characters in the group, and then we would pull that aspect out of there. Pretty much, that would kind of that stood out, to us. Um, So the
Because I was
fact that
thinking like something like I'm better than Aristos.
What? What?
Because they rival all the time. Everything they do, they're trying to outdo each other. You know.
It's impossible.
um okay, so how would that be invoked then?
So if Aristos is doing something, I have to do something. I guess it's a
Well,
bit like
yeah, that's a compel. That's a compel.
oh right,
To invoke it, it would egg him on to be better
yeah.
than what he could possibly, or whatever he's doing.
So he hits harder, he moves faster,
So
jumps
if I've
higher.
been like knocked down and I see Aristos is still fighting, I'll be able to like draw on a well of like pride to get back up and show off. You know.
Yeah, and that would be for anything. I mean, if he's
Yeah.
drinking, he might be drinking contest, womanizing. He can, you know. I mean, as long as I'm somewhere where I don't even need to be there. I mean,
Not
it could
really.
just be like, hey, I
Yeah,
can
how
get
would
one up.
Aristos do this? Oh, I can do better than that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that was easy. Okay. All right. We'll go with that. We'll go with those five. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. And now do you guys think that Go Big or Go Home and I'm Better Than Aristos, are they too similar?
They are kind of similar, yeah. I think so. Like, they're kind of going to be invoked or compelled for the same reason. You know, the only difference is sometimes Aristos is there.
So, well, one is inferring that Fang is flashy and extravagant by whatever he does,
Yeah.
and then the other one is that, well, he's not necessarily flashier than Aristos, he's better than Aristos, which could be flashier, stronger, faster, quick, more accurate,
Right.
funnier.
Aristos is definitely a better guy. Like,
Okay.
he's definitely kinder and more understanding of people. Like, Fang solves all his issues with
I
fighting.
don't know about all of that.
But
I
also,
think so far he has been, I think.
but also, Lloyd, you did say that Go Big or Go Home also means that he isn't worried about the smaller threats and the little guys.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that also, so they're kind of similar, but they kind of branch apart, to a certain degree. So I don't know. Of the two, which one would you rather hang on to? Do you know, or not yet?
Like, I think if I have a tie into Aristos,
Hmm.
and it can be used for the same reasons as Go Big or Go Home, it's better because it ties to another player. It's kind of nicer.
Okay, I'll put a question mark by Go Big or Go Home,
Mhm.
and kind of think about it some more. And I don't. What do I have? I have see. Okay, the heavy-handed and without restraint and out of control and undisciplined, all that goes into his high concept. So that those three are gone, or four are gone. Goes to the past. We got, so that's gone. Yeah, let's we can still kind of mull over that one. The Go Big or Go Home. And the thing about Fate is that, at least the way the way I'm doing it anyway, is that these aspects that you guys, the other three aspects that you guys are doing, if during play something more logical or something that fits better comes up, it's nothing wrong with us, saying, hey, this makes a lot more sense for him to have that. Can I put that here instead? And I have no problem with that.
Maybe something about the fact that he sees the world kind of black and white, that people are good or bad, and that people are weak or strong.
Mm-hmm.
Because he definitely tried to show those villagers how to fight, even though that was a terrible idea. But he thought, like, you don't know how to fight.
Why was that a terrible idea?
Because he's like, if you don't know how to fight, then you're an idiot and you're not.
Oh, okay.
And then it got them all killed in the end. And like he just makes a decision, like an impulse decision on people he meets. He's like, you are either good or bad, worthy or not worthy. So something like that. Maybe.
How would we phrase his outlook? Which is basically you're one or the other, or things are one way or the other.
Yeah, it's binary.
He has a binary outlook, but what does that, what does that mean? Is what my favorite saying is. What does that really mean?
If it was, if yin and yang weren't so about balance, it would be that. That would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Kind of about two parts of the same thing, and this is kind of the opposite. Um, I don't know. Like, yeah, he definitely makes snap judgments.
Uh, which was part of Go Big or Go Home. Yeah, but that's dialing in a little bit tighter. Is saying it has to do with snap judgments and leaping before he looks. Uh, judgments. Um, Anybody else got any ideas or suggestions or anything about somebody being more impulsive? Is basically what we're saying. Boyle, that's part of it. That's
Yeah, I
part
think
of it.
it's also judgmental.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it's more. Yeah, I think you're
he
going for
thinks
more
that
judgmental.
he's
Yeah.
pretty good in his own eyes. He does things the right way. He doesn't mince words. He means what he says.
Is it my way
He
or the highway?
could be, yeah, something like that makes sense.
Okay. Okay.
My way or Tiger Claw.
That's good. I mean, yeah, that's good. I like that better. uh, okay. I'll pencil that in. My way or the tiger claw. Tiger's claw. And we'll leave that for now unless we can somebody or even yourself unless you go, hey, I was thinking about it. How about this? Okay, that's good. Okay. So that's good. Your high concept gives us a lot of information about him, about his fighting style, about his class, about his personality. That's great for a high concept. That's got everything in there. Now, basically, your stunts would be they're like feats, more or less. He didn't really have any kind of signature weapon. I mean, he used the staff, but it was just a staff, right? It really wasn't. Yeah, there wasn't anything special. Well, that's what I'm getting to. I'm like, huh?
In Fate, the only reason he had a staff because it was mechanically more damaging than fists.
Right.
And if his fists are the same, then he wouldn't use a staff.
Well, like for example, Royce, he had his spear that really wasn't a spear; it was more so of an icon of his religion. So, but it didn't necessarily do anything, but it was just a symbol. Of his. So he would have that, but it really wouldn't, mechanically speaking, he wouldn't have to pay for it because it didn't really have any kind of other bonus other than just being a symbol. But did just like what Jim kind of mentioned, I'm trying to look here without all my freaking pages falling out. So he had abilities. Now.
He's good at fighting mages. He's able to catch bullets.
Well, what you could do is you have 3 stunts for free, and what you could do is we could actually use some of your favorite techniques or abilities from 5e, and use those as stunts. Which would basically be feats or abilities related to tied into his fighting style, basically his fight. So, like Jim said, flurry of blows, for example.
Definitely. He had Mage Slayer, so he's definitely good at fighting wizards and disrupting them when they're
trying to Mage Slayer would have been a good aspect.
Yes, it would have been. Yeah.
So that actually would have been a good aspect for him. But perhaps that really doesn't fit because you haven't really said that Fang was known for, crushing.
We haven't really met any, so I guess.
Okay. So it could change though, which is the good thing about Fate. As the story progresses, you might say, "Hey, I've done some mage killing, so I think the title of mage kill, the aspect mage killer applies to him right now." Which I would go, "Okay, yeah, sure, it does." So yeah, but that's a perfect example right there. So we know that you would want flurry of blows.
How powerful are these stunts? It's not. I assume it's not going to be like Feng Shui, right? Because those stunts were insane.
I don't know.
You think those stunts were insane?
We may have to look at that for some inspiration.
Carnival of Carnage is pretty insane.
We've got magic,
but that's only for nameless people. It's kind of like the mooks.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, Jim could probably give us some suggestions. I don't know.
Something like that would be good for just knocking out the mooks on the way to the big guy. You know.
Well, that's what it is. It's basically, but it kind of doesn't matter because what you do against the mooks, which is the beautiful thing about it, is that with a flurry of blows, you could take out a whole crowd of mooks.
Mhm.
Whereas if you were attacking the sub-lieutenant of the boss, you may just bring him within an inch of his life, or you may give him a big welt on his face. You know what I mean? So that's why you really can't say, oh my God, flurry of blows is going to be too powerful. No, not really. Not necessarily. So it's more so what you the visual and the narrative that you want to, if flurry of blows was like, oh well, definitely I need that because that was a favorite maneuver of Fang, so I gotta have that. Then I would say, yeah, definitely that we'll make that happen.
Yeah, it was. I mean, every chance I got, I did it. So it's like, yeah, depending on what stance he's in, it changes as well. So it's
okay. Well, see, that's another thing.
So maybe the stances could be.
Well, yeah, because what you could do is it just because it's flurry of blows doesn't mean that we can't reskin it to say, tiger flurry or whatever, to further reflect that he, is it's related to the 5 animal styles, So
yeah, they're for different purposes, so like each stance has a specific purpose. So some are extremely powerful blows that are slow, but connect really heavily, and some of them are really quick, and some are defensive.
Yeah.
So because I never really got to play that up because mechanically in D&D it's all the same.
Right. Yeah.
Right, and there's no point in saying. Well, I mean, there is. I kind of did a little bit, but here you could really say like, okay, when he's in tiger stance, it's going to wreck somebody, and when it's in brain stance, it's going to be defensive, or
Right. So which actually means that you're gonna. It sounds as though you want styles that are related, to kind of specific things. So, you may have a style or a stunt that is offensive. You may want one that's more defensive, possibly. You may want, it's really up to you how you want to do it. Which is what I was saying, that you could look at the, if you wanted to, the easiest thing is to look at the book for inspiration. But I mean, it's whatever you want to do to a certain degree,
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
No, that was it.
That he could have the eagle or the crane stance is the one that's defensive, so that could be he can. You can do that anyway, can't you? Use your fight skill to defend.
Yeah, you can, but your stun will give you a little extra. It'll make you do. You'll have something else. With it. It's a little. Go ahead. Yes, go.
Can I offer a suggestion?
Yes, go.
All right. So creating advantages create aspects. So you could create an aspect called
crane style.
Or crane stance. So now. You would have, once you're in crane stance, you would have stunts that are enacted if crane stance is active.
Yes. Okay.
And then, the stunts would do things, but then you would also have invokes of that you could use to help power it even more. And then eventually someone could knock you out of your. You could take a stance, for example, crane stance. And if I'm fighting you and I have tiger stance, I know that crane stance is a defensive stance. So I may try to knock you out of your crane stance.
Right.
So,
that you can't use those stunts.
Right, so that you can't use those stunts.
Right.
I get it.
And I may take like Phoenix stance, and now my hands are glowing on fire.
Right.
But as long as I'm in that stance, so you may say, well, I need to get this guy out of that stance, or take a crane stance, which is a more defensive stance. Instead of trying to knock him out of his stance, you would adapt to the opposite stance.
So basically, the way that Jim is suggesting is that using your fight, you would basically use your action to create an advantage. You would say, all right, Dave, I want to go into crane stance, which is you creating an advantage, basically. Okay? And then I would say, okay, that's a fair, difficulty. Yeah. So go ahead and roll. And then you may say, okay, well, because Fang is is a undisciplined golden dragon monk, I'm gonna invoke that, if needed, to give me a +2 if I need to when I'm going into my crane stance. So you roll and say you roll, you get a success with style. Okay, so you don't need to spend a fate point invoke anything. You're good. So you now have what is it? Two free invokes, I think, of that.
One or two.
Or one boost. A boost. I'm sorry.
Boost. Yeah.
No, two. Create the aspect with 2 free invokes when creating an advantage. So
yeah, if you succeed with style.
Yeah. I'm just taking a off the top of my head example. So boom. So Fang is in crane stance, and he's got 2 free invokes of that. Okay, that he doesn't have to spend any fate points on. So now this guy who's in Phoenix in his Phoenix stance or whatever, say for example he attacks Fang and Fang defends. You can say, okay, Dave, I'm gonna use one of those free invokes to give me a +2 to my defense roll.
Yeah.
Or you could say that, and you may say, and I want to use my crane stance stunt, to do something else when this happens. So it's it could be real good.
And then the other thing, remember that when you're creating advantages, anybody who can actively oppose that can make an active opposition. So generally, if nobody's opposing you, it's a fair roll +2. But if you're trying to go into this stance and I'm fighting you with my Phoenix technique, and I see you're trying to slip into crane stance, I can actively oppose that with and say my fighting is 4. So now instead of a 2, you have to roll against a 4.
Yeah.
Or you have to roll against. Well, actually, it's roll against roll. I would roll as well. Yeah, I would roll as well. So you would roll your fight and whatever you get, and I would roll my fight. So if I beat you, I'm stopping you from slipping into the crane stance by whatever. I may get behind you or get on top of you or whatever it is that the kung fu people do.
Yeah, I like that as an idea because it really makes the stances stand out. So it's like I have to make it's like a tactical decision which stance I'm going to use. Do I want to stick and tiger and do more damage? Do I want to go to
right.
crane and protect myself or whatever? So because he as a monk you also had like patient defense and stuff like that, so you could go in the dodge action or whatever. So that makes sense to me.
One thing that might be decent is there's a basic stunt where you get +2 to create advantages based on something. So you may have Master of Animal Kung Fu stunt where when you're trying to create advantages based on animal styles, you get +2.
Yeah.
So now it's easier, it makes you a lot more effective in creating those advantages, be they stances or, you might have to go with the Iron Monkey technique and let somebody, hit, whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so that sounds good. So it's +2 when creating advantages.
So you got
to
a crane stance, tiger stance, and then I don't know what else you may.
There was a snake and
Okay.
golden dragon.
Okay, so what was the snake stance gonna do?
Snake stance is like precision. It's like
Oh, okay. So that's
it's like
damage.
breaks, like
Okay.
pressure points, that kind of thing. So it's like really precise. It's really quick.
Okay.
And it's kind of deceptive as well. You're moving around the whole time, and it's confusing to the opponent.
Okay. So that's deceptive. That's physique. And that's athletics. And then you got one more, which was golden dragon style.
Yeah.
And what's that?
It's the big one.
Is that for mage killing? Is that magic killing?
That's probably mage killing. That's
is there? Okay, I was just kidding. Okay.
Yeah, that's like the one where there's probably some magic in that itself. I think he might take on a bit of a golden sheen or something like that. That's probably the one that has a bit of magic infused into it, like the way you were saying, probably a phoenix stance, an example where there's fire on the hand. Golden dragon, it's like it looks really glorious, I think, and it.
All right. Well, think about what kind of what that means. What does that mean? It's
Yeah.
flashy, it's magical, but kind of think about what you may narratively what you want that to mean. Is it more for I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything. So you
It's
think about it.
definitely offense. It's definitely
Okay.
damaging. It's probably
It's
the
definitely
most powerful one, but he
even
doesn't
more than
use it.
Tiger. Okay. Okay.
But
All
it's
right.
like
So that's
it's for a
damage.
very specific purpose.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Is it something that a typical wizard or mage would recognize as, oh shit?
Maybe, yeah, it might be. They might be like, oh shit, this guy's got the golden dragon stance. Oh no, I'm in trouble now.
Okay. Okay.
'Cause, I mean, you've
It
never
depends
used
upon
it.
their.
I've never used it. No.
Wisping might be taken aback by that. So
Yeah. Like, oh, I didn't realize that you were. Oh, this is
Right.
somewhat awkward. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. So
24, right?
far, you've only spent one refresh on your golden dragon style, which is fine. If you're good, if there's nothing else that you think you want or need, then you're probably all right.
Flurry of blows, right?
yeah, starting with a lot of refresh is good.
Yeah.
He also had exceptional movement.
Yeah, he had.
So
He did. Yeah.
most people in Fate can move like one zone basically for free before
Right.
you have to start making athletics checks to go farther. You could have a stunt where you could move two for free before you need to roll, and that could be in any direction. So he could basically kind of super leap around and
Oh yeah, that's
jump
good.
and
That's a good
flip.
idea.
Run up walls and stuff.
Run
Yeah.
up walls. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Okay. Is that still?
Unless you want to say that that's part of a style, and if you go into a particular stance,
He can do that.
that you could do that. But see, that's the kind of stuff you might say, I'm going to do spider style,
Yeah.
and you slip into a spider style. Well, what can spiders do? We know that spiders can move up walls.
Right.
You're not going to spray webs or anything like that because, well, I don't think you are, but I mean,
Just
if
because that's
what
gross.
right. But you know that a spider can kind of hop around. Your blows may be poisonous. You may have green drippings from your hands, and you could wall crawl based on you going into that stance.
As Lloyd would say. I don't know.
I think always on is nice.
Oh yeah.
because it was like he just is really really swift.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think maybe the going up walls and stuff and the super leaps and stuff should be part of a stance instead. So maybe he just moves really quickly, but then if I want to do some really magical kung fu stuff, it's got to be in a style.
In a stance, right.
Okay.
Yep.
That's very fair. Okay. That's all right.
It could be part of the dragons since it's the magical one. Right?
Okay.
Dragons
All right.
fly.
Fly
So
around
maybe
on
There you go. So I'll put
Crouching
super
Tiger
movement.
fly.
Yeah.
Can we see the wires? Can we see the wires?
yeah.
Ready, moving the.
Right. Okay. All right. That's good, man. Okay. There you go then.
Your fake beard is coming off, Fang.
Right. Okay. That's definitely some good stuff then. Yeah. Okay.
And
All
what about flurry of blows? Is that going to be like that?
That can be a is that part of that? That's a stunt. That's part of his one of his styles basically. So we haven't see all we've done is we have determined that so far Fang has 4 different styles. Okay. We know that his snake stance has a stunt to it that's going to be related to precision striking. We know that his tiger stance is going to have a stunt, which may be flurry of blows, that's connected to offensive damage. And we know that his crane stance is defensive, has a defensive stunt. So those are the 3 stunts. The stunt that he has to pay a point of refresh for is going to be his movement, his super movement stunt, which is related to his golden dragon stance.
Yeah.
So, and that's where we are right now. So he has 4 stunts right now, basically, related to each of his. Huh?
That's only 4 animals. I'm
If
missing
the
one.
crane stance is defensive,
That's what he said. He said he wants it to be.
something that if you're in crane stance, you could make melee or fight checks or defense checks against ranged weapons.
Right.
dodge range weapons.
Right. You can basically
Deflect
Like
arrows,
using his fight
basically.
skill.
right, use your fight skill because that's going to be your highest skill.
Yeah.
So you can defend against stuff like that.
Use defense with
Or you could just have it be basic that when you're in this stance, you get +2
to whatever. Yeah.
on your defensive
Rolls. Yeah.
action checks. Or is it like
Well, he will
blocking?
anyway because he's going to be. That's an advantage he's going to create.
Well, he didn't. No, not necessarily. Because see, all right, you guys are kind of. Never mind.
No. Okay, here's what we were saying. Here's what we were saying initially.
I don't
We
want
were
to.
saying that the stunts were going to be connected to his stances,
Okay.
and his stances were going to be advantages that he had to create.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, go ahead.
no,
Yeah,
I,
Is that
well,
kosher or no?
yeah, I mean,
Oh, okay.
that's fine. But like DBJ was saying about Wolverine,
Yeah.
you know, he's got a aspect of mutant healing factor,
Okay.
so he can heal.
Right.
So he could always heal. He doesn't
Right.
have to invoke that to heal. It's a given that he can heal, right?
Right.
So an
If he has a
advantage.
crane stand stunt, he always has the stunt. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no. Well, if he's in crane stance,
Yes.
he can do whatever that stance is saying that he can do. Not
Right.
necessarily based on stunts, but based on the
Well.
truthfulness of that.
Well, but that stunt is helping us to define what the truthfulness of that is. Because if he says and this is what we were talking about, I think before you got on, the whole aspects are always true thing. So if he is in crane stance right now, and Lloyd says that means that my defense, it's a defensive stance, okay?
Mhm.
So if he leaves it at that, it's open to a lot of interpretation. At its most basic, that just means that he can invoke that and get a +2, when he's being defensive, probably,
Mhm.
And so, but Jim, you're saying that if Lloyd also says that, well, you tell me, what else are you trying to say then to the next show?
Well, okay. I am the last son of Krypton. Does anybody know what that means?
A lot if you're on it. Yeah.
What can I do? What's one thing I can do?
Fly, be
Okay.
invincible, shoot
So,
lasers.
so you know that, right? So that's one of his aspects.
Right.
So when you're creating an advantage, you're
Right.
creating basically an aspect on yourself that's situational.
Right.
So if the stunt were to be see, I don't want to
Are you saying
convolute
that
it.
we're limiting him in a sense?
Yes. I don't want it to be like it's just open. So if he goes
Right. I don't want it to be totally open.
right, so if he goes snake style,
Right.
and his snake style is based off of precision, right?
Mhm.
That's what he's saying. It's
Right.
it's precision. So he may be able to, if he makes a successful strike with his hand, he can
Mhm.
force the opponent to take a consequence.
Right.
Okay, so that's simulating that precision. Or he could say, he puts an aspect on a successful melee attack. He puts an aspect of poisoned on the person.
Well, like Snake's stance was, he mentioned like joint locks and nerve
Right, yeah.
pinches and stuff like that, I think. So
Okay.
which are consequences. So
Right.
yeah. Okay. But I mean, he's stated what that means though.
Okay.
So
So you already know what it means. So
yeah.
does he need to have a bunch of stunts based on the
Well,
advantage, or is the stunt actually, I have mystic animal kung fu?
hmm
So what does that mean? That means when I move, I have mystical snake kung fu.
oh,
I have mystical dragon kung fu.
so Snake's style or stance would be the stunt. Tiger's stance would be the
Yes.
stunt, crane stance would be the stunt.
Yeah,
And
okay.
And then he would need to. That's the stunt, but he would still need to create the advantage to be in that stance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Well,
Because
to me, it almost sounds like we almost came full circle. But I see what you're saying. The reason that thematically, the reason why I would prefer to do it that way is because I don't want aspects to be so open, you know. But honestly, I have to say that, you know, with you guys, I know that it's not a situation where it will be something that would be taken advantage of. But just from a
I don't know about that.
huh?
I don't know about that.
Just from a how do I want to put it? Good practice, you know, just for good practice and good practices, I should say. You know, I'd rather at least have these things kind of defined, you know, so that we all know what that means. So that way, for example, not saying that Lloyd's going to do this, but you know, if he just had a crane stance aspect on himself, you know, he could say, well, you know, cranes can they move real fast. They can they take short bursts of flight. You know, they
Which is basically leaping, super leaping.
they can claw with their feet. You know, and it's almost like everything is kind of getting to a point where it's redundant. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, why do you need all these stances when one of them will do almost anything you want anyway? Does that make you guys see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I like more defined stuff.
Yeah,
You
it
know?
shows you what they're for, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because that's kind of what you're saying. You actually said one's defensive, one's defensive, one's damage, one's precision, and then the other one is, well, it's magic killer, but you know, we know that means a couple other things, but you know, each one of those stances is more defined, I guess is what I'm saying.
So is it? I basically create an advantage to go into one of those stances, and then the stunts in that stance are available to me.
Well, that's what we were saying initially, and then I believe Jim was saying that it makes more sense to have the stances be the stunt.
Okay, and then once I'm in the stance, it's kind of
Well,
self-explanatory.
and that's why I said, does it really, you know, does it matter?
The being in the stance.
I think having the advantage of the stance gives him more options, the way I see it, because he can invoke the advantage, and he also has the stunt.
Right.
Okay.
And that gives him all that aspects do. Aspects give you permission to do something.
Right.
They
To
give
use
you
the stunt.
justification to do something, or they deny your permission to do
use
something.
another stunt that's in another stance.
Right. So if you create that aspect of crane stance, that allows you to use whatever is associated with that.
Okay. So
And then if there are narrative, mechanical bits
that
to
makes
it,
sense. Right.
you can start pulling the invokes out.
Okay.
And
That's fine.
I mean, Dave could possibly say that once you've used all of the invokes,
then he's out of the stance.
The aspect, then you're out of the stance.
Yeah, he's out of stance. Yeah, which is kind of cool. That's a good idea. Okay. So yeah, we'll do it like that. So all we really need to do, and we'll do this, you know, offline, so to speak. But we'll find some stunts, or actually fine tune them, because we have an idea what we want to do for those stances. And then the only one we really don't know, other than it implies a super movement, is the Golden Dragon stance. You said it's even more powerful attacks, but we know it's magical, you know. So we have to kind of figure out what that is. That's
also only 4 animals. So there was another one. I'll have to check up what it was. I forgot.
Snake, tiger, crane, and dragon.
That's just 4. It's supposed to be 5.
Oh, you need one more. Okay. All right. Okay. I don't know. Between all of us, we've seen a ton of martial art movies. Scorpion style, or it has to be an animal, not an insect, though, right? Or yeah, that's not. Really
Well, traditionally, yeah, like it's usually there's like a panther or a leopard, or there's an eagle, or maybe a different kind of dragon I could use. I don't know, but there's usually
you've got one bird though now, right?
Yeah. You don't want to. You've got a bird. You've got a
snake,
a snake. You got a reptile and a warm-blooded predator. What else is there?
Elephant, monkey.
A monkey.
Monkey is a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's tropish. Okay. So monkey style
monkey
possibly.
Could be grabs maybe and stuff like that.
Ah, okay. So those are grapples.
Provokes.
Yeah.
Provokes. Ah, that's good. Yeah. I like that better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's good.
You can cause like mental maybe mental stress.
Better. Yep, that's better.
Okay. Harass the hell out of people.
Yep, taunts. Yep. That's good. Mental. Okay, there you go. All right. Okay.
That's not to say as well that if we get higher, he learns new ones. You know, he could definitely.
Yes, he will. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Sure will. Yep. So you spent two refresh. So, okay. So that you got 2 left. You'll start with 2 fate points. Okay. All right. That's good. And then he'll have his staff. And did he have another weapon?
No,
or was that it?
He was all about fighting plus no armor or anything either. So.
No armor. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe that. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. All right. Cool. Okay. All right, Joe, you want to talk about Wisping a little bit, so that these guys kind of know what your thoughts were?
Okay. Well.
Or what you need help with?
Well, the only thing I really need help with is with Billow, my familiar. Billow.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me look, because you were telling me something else. Let me look at your Wisping. So what's his
High concept?
Yeah, go through his stuff, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. High concept is High Elvish Wizard of the Alchemy Guild. Trouble is, I maintain an immaculate level of decorum.
You guys know what that means? That makes sense to you guys?
Yep. Yeah, yep.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I am college educated.
Basically.
Okay.
Let's see here.
All right, well, hang on. Let's go back, though, because we're going to do this right. So, I maintain an immaculate level of decorum. So,
like his dress, his mannerisms, how he talks to people, you know, is very prim and proper and clean, and that's kind of how he always wants to present himself in any situation. So, like, he might find himself in a situation where he tends to kind of talk, as a result, he tends to talk down to people, and that can sometimes get him in trouble.
So how can that help him? How do you see that being positive?
No, again, it depends on where he's at. You know, if he's in a royal court somewhere, you know, having that level of decorum is gonna work in his favor. You know.
Okay. All right. Okay. So go ahead. What's the next one then?
Next one is I take great pride in my craft. I take science and create works of art. So his craft, pretty much being his alchemy. As far as the
how it can be invoked, but can that be compelled? You think?
That he might, because he doesn't take shortcuts. He creates his work of art. So for him, it's he might take longer to create something than, or if he doesn't.
Got to get the exact ingredients, nothing less.
Right. Okay. Or if he thinks that something is beneath his notice as far as creating it, he might not even bother to do it. So.
Okay. All right. Okay.
The next one, I just made it enclave. I left it as enclave ally with Aristos.
Okay.
I imagine. Hey, I didn't come up with that. Jim did come up with that, so I just left it. So blame him.
If you had a better idea, you're supposed to tell me.
I couldn't think of a better one. I'm sorry.
We'll put a question mark by that one. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I mean, the top 3 are ones I actually came up with. The last 2.
That's not the point. What if you can think of a better tie-in, to one of the other characters, then think about it.
I'm just joking, Joe.
And then the last one?
The last one is alchemy is your salvation, and that was a tie into Royce.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Well,
and that one you actually helped with.
Yeah, I guess I did help a little bit with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had something else. Well, anyway, yeah, basically, well, Royce has, his
problems.
so
As his problems.
Speak of that.
Which problem are you speaking of? There's
a little red dust addiction, but we haven't really got into that too much. I know I've kind of in one of the earlier adventures I was trying to find a way.
Wisping hasn't gotten into it too much for we.
No. And that kind of goes in with his I guess maintaining an immaculate. Well, first it was keeping his hands dirty, or keeping his hands clean, but I mean, basically, he kind of came to him about, finding out more, as far as getting some of this red dust, stuff.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I kind of see that as kind of like it's a cheaply, poorly made product, So,
yeah.
So
you could do. Are you trying to cut out the?
I can
cut out the red dust manufacturers and come up with something better, or what? What are you?
Basically, yeah. For him, he figures that he can make something that's not so detrimental, because for him, everything is a work of art for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, he thinks that to get him off of the red dust, he has to, find a way. Chemically, he can do that. Through alchemy or whatever. He can be his salvation.
Here's something for thought that just popped in my head. And not only, to my recollection, not only has Wisping tried to help. Well, actually, what I remember is that Royce asked Wisping if he could help him out, and Wisping said no. That's what I kind of remember. But
no, you're right in the first place. I said no, but then he said I can't get you that stuff. He said, but I'll see what I can do. And the idea was that I was going to try to make something that was going to wean him off of it.
Okay. And the other thing is that I remember Wisping trying to help Aristos when you guys.
Oh yeah,
right. So there's something in that. There's something in that he likes, or he wants to use his alchemy to help people in some way. Okay, so there's an aspect in there somewhere, which probably that would actually cover a lot more bases than specifically Royce. And could also be used in other ways, because does that also imply that Wisping would help strangers, with his alchemy skill, if need be?
Probably.
Or is this just for his allies?
I don't know. That's kind of a tough one.
Is he doing this to make money, or is he's doing it just because it's an art? He isn't doing this to make money. He's doing it because it's almost like
I mean, he's got money, but for him, it's more of an art, form,
right.
That he, takes a lot of pride in. So, it's not something he just would necessarily
share with anyone.
Just give away.
Okay. Well, there's something there. I don't know what yet, but there's an aspect there that's probably a little more, a little better, because there's a lot more that can be pulled out of it. The fact that.
So you don't think it's good the way it is? I think it needs to be.
Well, it's okay. It's all right, but I mean, I think that it could be refined a little bit, for lack of a better word. And
then as far as it being compelled.
Yeah. Well, as far as the one that's there being compelled. if alchemy if Wisping thinks that alchemy is the answer to all things, which basically is what salvation is, he may say, hey, uh, he may turn down, well, I don't know, he may turn down spiritual healing possibly and say, hey, my alchemical stuff is better than that, it's the best there is, or I don't trust your herbal backwater remedies, my stuff scientifically, you know what I mean? I know what's in my what's in my bottle. That could be a certain way of looking at things as compelling him. He may drive Royce, by constantly harassing him about, hey, try this, man, this is the way to go. Royce may be like, you may not see it that way. I don't know. It has to be played out if you're going to keep that aspect. So there's a lot of different ways, we can go with it. But that's not a bad start, but just from, I can't tell you exactly what I would change, but just by us just talking about it right now, it seems like the fact that I did remember that Wisping was always basically trying to peddle his wares to the group members, that he's like, hey, I got this cure for you, hey, you ought to try this, hey, I got this, it's kind of like that thing, so there I don't know, there's something better there. I can't figure it out yet. I have to think about it.
Like I said, we could change it later if something else.
Yeah, I mean, you can always think of something, and if you think of something, just feel free,
Okay.
to change it. It's not my way or the highway. It's not my way or the tiger's claw.
Tiger's claw.
So.
Okay, and then the Enclave ally is okay too for right now.
Is that fine with you? Are you okay with that? Does it make sense?
Yeah, I mean, in the story, we came from the same Enclave. It makes sense, and then we kind of,
now that implies that there is some kind of like loyalty and tie, between the two of you. Is that correct?
I would say loyalty as far as, because I mean, no, seriously.
That's a good way to open a sentence. Okay.
Yeah.
The only reason I say that is because Aristos and Wisping haven't really had a whole lot of conversation. Wisping and Aristos and more or less have been kind of, in game. I mean, it's more, Aristos is obviously more closely attached to those that are more directly like him, Well,
let me interrupt. Let me interrupt. But that we're kind of doing things kind of backwards here. But the fact that aspect is in your crossing paths thing, that's supposed to be that episode of the show was with you and Aristos. So the implication is that you guys did have a connection and did have a talk then.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of as far as like what's been going on since we've been playing.
Well, we're all over the place, but that's what that implies. With like I said, your adventure is your introduction and your spotlight. Then crossing path is with one character of the group, another party member, and then crossing paths again is with yet another party member where you guys shared an episode together. Basically, is what that is. So. So we're trying to pull out examples of gameplay, but if that doesn't work, we all know that you guys have a bond as a group together, that's already been established. So we're kind of just plugging in the holes, just kind of from a metagame standpoint, that's all, I'm just asking these questions, just trying to see if I can get anything else out of you, that we can use for later on, or it may be another idea for even another aspect. That's all, So,
okay.
But yeah, apparently you guys have had some kind of talk now. What exactly that was about, only you and Aristos know. So, that could be something that could be brought up in game, which would be kind of cool, or it could be something that you could post a little blurb about.
Honestly, I think it was primarily about the lore stones because we both have some knowledge of it,
Okay.
you know.
So then it should probably be a little more specific then instead of enclave ally then, honestly. It should probably be like ally in you know, this is bad, but ally in history or ally in you know, it should explain why Aristos is an ally of yours. And you're telling me that your connection is more so the lore stones as opposed to your home. That's what you were just saying.
So like ally of convenience or something like
Well,
that.
from
Well,
Wisping's perspective, maybe. I don't know.
you also have to remember, Joe, that Aristos isn't really happy with home, so he left. Remember, because
Yeah.
he was made fun of for his half
His
elvish
haircut. His
and,
haircut.
and his bad haircut,
His short ears.
his
Right. His short ears.
his glam rocker hairstyle.
Right.
Mhm.
So anything that's connected to home is not necessarily going to be a bonus for the way Aristos is.
Okay.
They were mean to him.
So, the tie-in is that you guys are connected due to your pursuit or knowledge or whatever of the lore stones. That's the connection. So Enclave Ally, obviously now that we have talked about it, is not good because it is inferring to something that, that's not why you guys are allies, because you guys are from the same place. It's something else. It's the lore stone. So, I mean, lore stone ally would be fine. It doesn't sound very good, but we know what that means, which would be closer to what that is. What?
Lorestone ally.
So, I mean, you can put that in there, but it's not. I don't know. Doesn't sound pretty, but if you say it, we know kind of what it means, So I would say of the two, that one needs the most work.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to make a tweak on that one.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then so we know that you spent your 1 point of refresh on your Arcana skill.
Mm-hmm.
You spent 1 point on your arcane focus, which we have to kind of figure out what. Well, we know that from 5e, the arcane focus basically means that you don't have to worry about the standard quote unquote generic components. Yeah, the components that cost big bucks and that are actually, they make note of for the spells. Those you still have to worry about, but for the minor stuff, you don't. So that really doesn't, in my mind, and you guys, if somebody has an idea, speak up. But I think that it really doesn't cross over well. So if anything, I mean, the easiest thing that comes to mind is saying that maybe it could just give you a bonus to your casting ability, or maybe it'll give you a bonus to creating aspects, to the create.
What is it? What is it now?
Arcane focus. It may give you a bonus to
as an extra. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
What does what mean?
What does that mean?
I mean, that's the beauty of it. It could be just about anything. It could be an aspect. It could be a stunt. Because I mean, what would you use it for? It's a
spell casting focus is what it is.
So when you're using it could be a stunt that gives you a +2 to your bonus when you're creating advantages when you prepare spells. However you do it.
So.
But an extra works too.
Okay. All right, and then aspect, and then you spent 1 more point on Billow, the familiar, who's going to be an asset or a sidekick of yours. So, and so Billow's high concept was that he was a spiritual owl companion, and we didn't come up with the trouble for him yet. So how can Billow add complications to Wisping's life?
Maybe Billow is a polymorphed something.
Well, he's Fae. He's a Fae spirit. Yeah. He's a Fae spirit in an animal form.
Could be Wisping's polymorphed lover. And he's seeking
Joe Joe doesn't like that. That would be good, but Joe doesn't like it. I can already tell you that.
Gotta seek a cure.
Joe, that's your. You need time to think about it. Because I know you don't like troubles anyway. So.
I mean, trouble is fine. It's just I never really thought too much as far as a trouble for Billow before now.
Does Billow have any kind of personality? Is he inquisitive? Is he hard-headed? Is he?
Well, I thought I had wrote something about him actually in some of the stories where maybe I just kind of skimmed it probably really, but essentially he's we would have lengthy conversations amongst each other.
Yeah.
But I didn't really get into any real details as far as.
Well, what do you think? What will be fun for you? What kind of personality would you want him to have? Well, he's a Fae spirit. So how does that come to mind? What comes to mind when I say that?
Well, I would probably this would be kind of interesting since my character is kind of a little, I guess, kind of uppity, and kind of proper. Yeah. Wisping is kind of the counterpart to that, or the opposite. I guess kind of the opposite of that, essentially.
Billow is the opposite of that. You mean?
Yeah, he's always kind of questioning why are you doing that, and just kind of like that seems like unnecessary.
So is Billow a little more of a carefree type of?
Yeah, I'll say he's a little more carefree, type.
So basically, we like your owl more than we like you.
Basically, yeah. That's why Eldrin used to always, want to play with him, hang out with him and stuff, and.
Okay.
He's.
So from Wisping's point of view, that would mean that Billow is what? Is he?
Is Billow like gregarious and
outgoing? Well, since Wisping is so straight-laced, so to speak, and kind of stuffy.
Does Billow go out and get into adventures on his own, or?
Right. Yeah. Like I said, is he? Is he?
I love that idea. The little owl going and doing. Like instead of goblins, he's fighting mice.
Is he always scolding him like, man, what are you doing now, or what are you into now, or, are you gonna keep bringing me back these? I can't do anything with all these dead mice you keep bringing back to me.
Yeah. I can see him always kind of showing up at like the most inopportune moment. I might be like in the middle of a conversation with
there's an aspect there
or something, and here he comes, flapping feathers going everywhere or whatever, just making a mess of stuff.
So he always shows up in at the worst time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good aspect, but there's something there. That's the tie-in right there.
The worst times could be
bad timing.
Bad timing.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
So, yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that showing up at the worst time means that it's the worst situation. Think of when he came at the worst time when he took that and it wound up working out for us. So it was
Okay, that's fine. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Okay. All right, so I'm saving DBJ for last, so I haven't forgotten about you. Hang in there.
Fine.
So, Jim, you want to talk about Aristos?
Sure.
Uh,
Basically, in this reimagining,
Reinterpreting.
reinterpretation,
Yeah.
I was, I really wanted to have some type of sword magic stemming from
Ooh.
almost similar to Fang.
Okay.
Their stances and styles and stuff like
Okay.
that, but it's more of a dance, hence the blade dancer.
Okay.
So I like to get that. What is it? The ether skill that you have? Is that
Okay.
the skill that you have?
Who?
Oh, me?
Yeah. What's your
Arcana.
Oh,
Arcana.
Arcana?
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, I like to get the Arcana skill,
Okay.
but since he left, it's going to be very low.
Okay.
So he
So
didn't
fair.
lower.
Wow. Well, there's only one more lower. What's plus one of
Average.
Average.
Yeah.
Is it average? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that'll show that he knows the basics of the blade dancers,
Okay.
but he relies more on the more martial
Okay.
aspects of it versus the magical aspects that he would have learned had he
Yeah, but
continued.
but that's just to so what that implies is that he actually has had some actual
Yes.
magical training, not his okay, all right, that's fine. Okay,
Well,
so there's a difference between you and Fang then, because Fang is not a arcanist in any way, which is
yes,
why he doesn't have that skill.
that's correct.
Okay, all right, as long as okay.
Because in my mind, elves are magical.
Okay.
So
all right. Okay.
what he does will be based on their manipulation of magic.
Okay, there you go. Okay, fair enough. Okay.
So and he pretty much sucks at it.
Okay. Well, compared to
compared to someone who may have trained for a while.
Right.
So he left, and he's got the rudimentary kind of stuff that he knows.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Now,
what's his? Huh?
So basically, he is his trouble. Let's go to his trouble before we go to his high concept. But
what?
Yes, I know. Okay. But his trouble is that I've been imagining him and playing him as being fairly mercurial and really emotion driven. So if he sees something wrong, he's like, "Come on, we got to go do it. We got to do it now. We got to save this person."
Right.
And on the other hand, when bad things happen, he's really affected by it a lot.
Okay.
So he's going to be more. How can I say that? I don't want to say emotional.
So he's open book. He's wear it hard on his sleeve.
Yeah, that's good. Wears his heart on his sleeve. Yeah, that's a good one. So it'll be difficult for him to, and that kind of
hide his emotion.
Right, and that kind of adds to how I was saying that he was naive before. But it's not really naivete. It's more, he's just wears his heart on his sleeve. He's pretty open, so he's not deceptive or anything like that.
Well, you said that. Well, what you were saying before is that you were playing him so that he purposefully was not good at hiding secrets, or.
Well, he just doesn't think of it that way. He's wired to where you accept people at face value and you say what it is that you're going to do. So if you come and, hey, bandits, we're coming here to kill your leader.
Right.
So just make way so that we can get on with this business and be done.
Okay. All right. So that'll work. That can be now. I see how that can be compelled. So what would be a good invoking of wears his heart on his sleeve then, in your mind?
Well, I mean, if he's trying to convince someone and he's being absolutely sincere, it would be a perfect invoke.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. What else?
So he is going to be a self-exiled.
Okay.
Half elvish blade dancer as his high concept.
Okay.
Because he made the decision to leave, because of the treatment that he had at the Enclave. And not only that, but his exile has put him on a mission to find the Lore Stones, which could be another aspect. Seeker of the Lore Stones, or some such.
Seeker of the Stones.
Seeker of the Stones. He's romancing the stone.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. That's I see the compels and the invokes in that. That's fine.
All right. So phase one. Is it?
Yep. Is that Seeker of the Stones?
Yeah, Seeker of the Stones. That's when he first came across Wisping.
Oh, okay. You're throwing. Okay, yeah. There you go. Okay.
And remember, I said he had an inert stone. So he was trying to find someone who could help him figure out what it was or what it contained. So that's when he first met Wisping.
Good.
Who came across as a pompous ass.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Okay. All right. Done.
The next one is going to be seeking my humanity amongst the outcasts, maybe.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because that's when he seeking humanity amongst the outcasts. Seeking humanity, seeking my humanity.
Okay.
Because that's the draw for him, as far as like Fang and Royce. That was the initial draw. Since he didn't know his father, his human father, he kind of gravitated towards them to show him what it's like to be human.
Interesting. So, if Fang and Royce are your examples of humanity that you're using, you're screwed up, man. Okay, no, that's good though. Okay, all right, okay, all right. I can see how that can be compelled. How would an invoke work with seeking my humanity amongst the outcasts?
Because if he's in a situation where he has to deal with some humans, they could have taught him some things so he can.
Okay. There you go. Okay, cool. All right. Okay. All right. One more. You already got You already got everybody tied in there, unless you want to throw Eldrin in there. No.
Well, I think I had something about Eldrin.
Did you? Okay.
About how it negatively affected me.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh, his death, you mean, or his whatever it is, whatever happened to him.
His passing.
Well.
Really? From one existence to another. I don't know.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me see. It's on your page.
What is? Okay. Wow, that's okay. I don't know.
Let me see.
Okay.
All right.
Because everybody should have lost some sanity points when that happened, but you know.
All right. So this is what I had.
Okay.
I had his high concept originally was a charismatic half-elf blade dancer.
Yep.
So that has changed.
Yeah, self-exiled is much better. Can work.
I had his trouble, a slave to my emotions.
That's pretty much close to what you got now.
Your adventure, my mother's manipulations run deep. I really don't need to worry about that.
But that's still tied into. That's why you're seeking the stones, though. So that ties into that.
Protective of his fellow outcasts was
I like the one you got here better.
And consumed with finding Eldrin.
Oh, okay. Consumed with finding Eldrin.
Because I believe that he was taken and not killed.
Consumed with finding Eldrin. Okay, how can that be an invoke?
How can it be an invoke?
Something more positive, yeah. How can that have a more positive, or how can that have a positive, be used in a positive way?
Well, if there's a situation where that might lead to finding Eldrin, I would be much more aware and determined. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm sure Sam will appreciate the the heads up. Okay, cool. All right, there you go. Okay, all right. Okay, so then, getting to his blade dancer stuff. Will it be types of what? Yeah. Well, how did
Yeah.
you
Well,
see it?
I originally went in and I just put a bunch of stunts down there,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it would be better to
Mm-hmm.
create like, the falling wind pedal technique and,
Okay.
the pirouette
Okay.
of death and doom and destruction.
Okay. So these are different types of dance.
Right. They would be,
What do you
right. They
call
would be
them?
katas.
Katas. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
They would still be there would be a
Okay.
blade kata.
Okay.
Uh, and I had blade dancers dual wielding.
Mm-hmm.
I had riposte. I
Mm-hmm.
had blade dancers pirouette. Once per
Mm-hmm.
scene, you can move one zone on foot, attack with fight, and then move an additional zone.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it's like a drive-by.
Mm-hmm.
I had my blade speak for me, which is a provoke using my
Mm-hmm.
fight.
Yep. Intimidate.
And
Okay.
yeah, and then I had Elvish lore. Trained as the guardian and caretakers of Elvish lore, I get
Mm-hmm.
+2 on any lore actions regarding elves of any type.
Okay. Did you, since you guys starting with basically an extra point of refresh, did you want to maybe get something else?
Well, I'm not. I'm going to.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
I'm going to reskin
because
those
each of those
as.
is going to be a kata, right? Or related
Uh,
to a kata, so to
yeah, it's
speak.
going to be related to Okada.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
and
That's fine.
and the katas will just be. I mean, for lack of originality,
Hmm.
earth, air, fire, and water.
Oh,
So
okay. All right. That's fine. Yeah.
so I just need to figure out, like blade dancers dual wielding. Normally,
Hmm.
fighting with two swords just looks cool,
Hmm.
but when you wield two swords, you have a decisive advantage anytime you succeed in an attack. The stress inflicted is increased by 2.
Oh, okay.
So when I have two weapons, I do +2 damage.
+2 damage. Okay. All right.
So that would be like fire stance
Oh, okay. Ah,
because
okay.
it's,
I see.
it's attacking. Riposte. If I succeed
All
with
right. Well, don't forget
style,
about what is it? Fire, earth, fire,
earth,
water,
air, fire, water.
earth, air, fire. Okay.
Unless you want to put like spirit or some
Yeah,
stupid.
you could. I would say
Well,
see if you can get a
metal
fifth.
is another Chinese element.
The
What is
who?
it? Metal?
Metal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That might be kind of
Oh, okay.
interesting.
Yeah, that might be cool.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So I'll skin those up, and
Okay.
then I'll basically be doing the same thing that Lloyd did.
That's
So
fine. I mean,
I
yeah.
gotta create, I gotta create the water stance or the
You get
metal
in the
stance,
you get in the kata first, and then you. Okay.
right
Okay. All
before
right.
I can just start attacking.
Right. Right.
I attack.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So
Here it goes.
start the show. All right. Ready. Okay.
I've been waiting for this.
I know. I know. This is what everybody's been waiting for. Okay. All right, man. No pressure. All right. So as Royce's high concept. Okay.
All right.
So did you have anything in mind yet? Or do you need to talk it out?
I'm probably going to be pretty easy.
Okay.
I thought of something like priest seeking redemption.
Okay.
I could make it a little more specific if you wanted to, but that's kind of how.
Is he a redemption seeking? Okay, that's fine. But is he a can we come up with possibly a better descriptor instead of like what kind of priest is he? What kind of priest does Royce see himself? Does he see himself as a priest? What does he see himself as? Is he more of a pawn than a priest? Is he?
Oh, that's an aspect right there.
I know.
Mhm.
See.
Yeah.
That could be his trouble,
Because he was chosen, right? He didn't
priest.
decide to be a priest.
Right. That's what I'm trying to. I mean, at this point in the story, he could very well say, "Hey, I think I've made that step," because we haven't detailed it yet. But supposedly, while you guys were in that last city, Royce made some kind of spiritual journey that we haven't discussed yet, you know, and that may have changed him a little bit. So I'm not saying that priest isn't good, but I'm just trying to talk it out, you know, and see if we can that's fine. So redemption seeking priest of Corona is fine.
Okay. And part of his journey is the fact that he was kind of picked as a pawn more than a priest anyway, and his conflict with the Church of Rising Sun is the fact that he's blessed with these clerical abilities, but the High Priestess feels like he's not worthy of it.
Okay.
So she kind of looks at him like what is this upstart doing in my priesthood? But she also knows that she knows about his past and hasn't revealed it to anyone else.
Is that because does he have like a destiny or something?
Well, in the priestess's mind, she wants to use him as a weapon against the enemies of the church, and kind of wants to blackmail him. And so he's kind of torn between being he hasn't been forced to do anything yet, but there's a possibility in as things come along that he may be forced to go further into his criminal background, acting on behalf of the church.
That's interesting. Okay.
Right.
So that's okay. Wow. Yeah, that is okay.
Right.
So
it's almost like recruiting a criminal who wants to be good to do more criminal acts.
Right. Yeah. Make him slide back into his old ways just to get your agenda done.
Hey, keep pulling me back in.
Right.
And the point of going back into that would be to support the advances of the church itself.
Wow. Okay.
That the High Priestess doesn't want her people doing it. Let this unworthy do it. But she doesn't understand, and he doesn't understand why he's been picked
in the first place. Yeah. Okay.
Correct. Right.
Well, that's
so he could have some type of destiny that he doesn't know about,
that he isn't aware of.
He could be
right. He doesn't have any inclination that he's got any particular destiny for anything.
Okay.
He know, and his connection with the lore stones is from the criminal aspect, not from the church aspect. For him, he heard about them being valuable. Like it wasn't any mystical knowledge or anything of that nature. Although it could tie into the High Priestess saying you need to go find these things, and then the two would have a connection. But he initially learned about it, being a slaver.
What happened to his lover? Didn't he have a lover that left?
Yep.
The other criminals.
Yep. He's got a spear and a mace, and the mace was actually a bugbear mace. Because he killed the bugbear that he was given to a bugbear when he ran away and joined a group, and he was kind of like the bugbear's toy in many ways, and then he killed him, and that's how he moved up one rank essentially in the group, and then one of the other slaves became his property.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. Right. So and this and the Knoll was the one that kept control over everybody in the group by getting them to all kind of hate each other and backstab each other.
Just cinching them on the ranks. Yeah.
That was the boss Knoll, right?
Yeah.
What was his name? Gray something.
More than 18 charisma that one. So.
They like me.
Right. Okay. Wow. All right. Well, okay. Well, let's go through this then. So. Royce has got a lot going on, He has a lot of trouble, basically, in his life. But what we have to do is we have to kind of figure out we have to kind of boil that down and determine what trouble is worthy of his kind of to bring to the forefront, basically.
Yeah, he's got a lot of trouble. Yeah. And he could actually have all of that trouble. It's just
he could.
What are we focusing on in this particular arc?
Right. That's true.
Well, I wrote down Vice is in his shadow.
Ooh, okay.
And just to say, like, I mean, because he's got a lot of vices.
Yep.
And they're always following him. And I kind of use terminology to kind of with the sunlight and shadow and rising sun and dawn and stuff like that. So,
how do you guys like that?
I wasn't sure how vague that was.
Well, we know you're explaining it to us, so you know we as long as we understand what each other's aspects mean and understand them, and we're good, then we're good, and so basically what I see is that his troubles of his past vices, they're still basically sticking with him, basically. He hasn't been able to shake them off, and the implications of them being in his shadow means that there's some illumination in his life, meaning it could be, the priesthood, it could be he's more aware of what's going on in his life, or maybe he feels as though he may have a little more control of his life at this point. But anyway, the more illumination you get, the less that shadow's going to be there, in theory. So, okay, no, that's fine. I can see how that can be invoked and compelled. Yeah, that's good.
And to turn it into a positive, he could. I mean, there's still people in his past that don't realize that he's made this change. Yeah. And so the drinking buddies or a slaver that he brought great prospects to or something. He can kind of buddy up to them. Although so.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that works good. Okay. All right. So let's see here. So then we need 3 more aspects. Okay. Okay. So the first one, we would like it to be basically still primarily. Well, it doesn't have to be. Well, what do you got? Because you sound like you got some already. So go ahead.
No, I put down blessed by the rising sun.
Okay. All right. So how does that explain that one?
That's his. Well, in a way, it's kind of the trouble too. But that's his initial spark of divinity that he received, but it wasn't by choice. So.
Okay. So that's would he consider it a blessing, though, or would he consider it something else by the rising sun?
Well, technically, he doesn't consider it a blessing, but it absolutely is a blessing. Like it protects him and kind of guides him.
So let me ask you this then: would pawn or priest work there?
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's your choice. I'm just throwing suggestions out there. So the other one is fine, but I'm just throwing stuff at you to get you thinking. So the reason I suggest that one, and you can tell me to get out of there and mind my own business, but the reason I suggested that was because it's questionable. Royce is questioning, he thinks, well, man, I didn't have a choice in this. I'm just a pawn, in this goddess's great plan. And then, but he's also seeing that obviously as of late that there are positive aspects to this priest gig, because initially he was just he was pretending to do it, right? He was just it was a scam, right?
Well, the initial story was they were running from the authorities.
Right.
Found a priest.
Right.
And small temple, went in. The priest fed him, healed him. Hid them from the authorities. And when they went to leave, he was given instruction. Hey, this guy knows who we are. Kill him. Right. And he kills the priest.
Right.
Everyone else leaves, and he doesn't leave.
Right.
And it wasn't by choice. It wasn't like he said, "Oh."
Okay.
No. I mean, he had every intention of leaving.
Okay.
But through combination of guilt and the fact that he would just wake up, like he'd try to leave and walk away, and he'd pass out, and then he'd wake up. He'd walk 500 feet away, and then wake up back in the
okay. Okay. All right.
And then so over time, he like cleaned the place up. He didn't have any other clothes, so he started wearing the priest's clothes. Okay. People would start coming by, and then he was just lying about it, taking the money.
Right.
But he didn't leave, and then eventually he just, and so in essence he went from like a chaotic evil guy, and he's starting to move up the alignment line to a good guy. So
okay. Man, Royce, yeah, he's got he's in too deep, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, all right. So what was the aspect again?
You
didn't write it down. Okay. Oh God, was it? See, I knew I should have written it down as soon as you said it.
Priest McClellan.
No, not mine. Yours, the one you gave me.
Blessed by the Rising Sun.
Blessed by the Rising Sun. Thank you. Okay.
All
right. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay. So now the next one would basically be it's basically crossing paths is the next aspect, and ideally it should kind of tie into basically a relationship between Royce and one of the other characters in the group.
Well, his connection to the others is that he would not have left the small little priest's temple if it hadn't been for his connection with everyone else.
Okay.
And I couldn't figure out how to word how he is taking the mantle of leading others down their path, like guiding them or being a mentor.
Mantle of guidance.
That's a guide, some type of guide, reluctant guide.
Shepherd.
Ooh, reluctant shepherd.
Yes, shepherd. Something like shepherd down a enlightened path or something. I'm not sure how to word that.
Does Royce is he willingly taking up this responsibility upon his shoulders, or is he?
Yes.
Is he good? Okay, he's good with that. Okay, so he wouldn't be reluctant. Okay.
No, he's not reluctant to do it.
Okay.
He doesn't feel that it's going to benefit him in any way. He doesn't want anybody to be like him.
Right.
So he's like, I'll lead these people. They came across my path. Let them not be like me. But he doesn't. He's not aware that it's actually affecting him. He's just trying to do it to help others.
Is he a wayward shepherd? No? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out.
With black sheep as well. That sounds pretty good because everybody's an outcast.
What'd you say?
Something to do with black sheep.
Yeah. Shepherd of the black
everyone's unusual. None of us are like normal people. Everyone's kind of an outcast of some kind.
Right. What kind of shepherd is he? That's what we want to say. What kind of shepherd is he? What is he shepherding? What is he guide, or who is he guiding? He's guiding the outcasts and the oddballs. But how do we make that sound good?
Shepherd of like lost souls or something.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't.
Shepherd of the lost. Shepherd of the something. Here, let me write that down. Shepherd.
Shepherd of the pie.
Shepherd or okay. So we're close. We're close to getting something. We just have to figure out the connection between all of you guys at this point is, especially from Royce's point of view, is that he is kind of like he's trying to be kind of like the guiding light. Initially, it's for all of you guys, but especially it was for Eldrin, and then I think also Aristos.
He's also like he's also kind of a centering figure, a figure of like reason.
Anchor.
Because I know there have been plenty of times where I may stray or start doing something kind of crazy and think to myself, Royce would know what to do.
What would Royce do?
Yeah. Well, no,
Yeah.
Royce would know what to do, or Royce can
Yeah.
just get Royce so he can talk to these people, so I don't have to kill them or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's often the mediator because Aristos and Fang kind of talk with their fists.
Yeah, we get into some shit.
Yeah.
So he's a shepherd. He's a guiding light, so to speak.
Is he charismatic?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he is.
Okay. All right.
5e style. Actually, he's had like a 9 intelligence, but I think a 14 wisdom and a 15 charisma.
Okay, so he's gonna have a high rapport and probably a decent. Is he very empathetic? Is he?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he's definitely a people.
I kind of thought about it like he wasn't smart enough to not get in trouble, but he's charismatic and wily enough to survive when he's in it.
Yeah.
So he's a good. He can put on a lie enough that he'll believe his own lie.
Yeah. He can schmooze. Yeah.
And now he's actually living it. So he's just like, wait a minute.
How did this happen? Yeah.
The BS is real.
Well, huh?
Right.
The BS is real.
Right.
Right.
There's a good aspect. The BS is real. Shit is real.
If I'm a criminal and I'm acting like a hero, after a certain time, I'm a hero, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Fake it till you make it.
There you go.
Right. That's good. That is good. Make it till you make it. I don't know. Well, okay. Here's what I've got written down. I've got mantle of guidance written down. I've got shepherd ? I've got black sheep ? I've got anchor of reason. I've got guiding light. That's what I've got.
I like them all.
Well, we need 2. So
Shepherd of the Lost?
Shepherd of, that's what I was thinking, yeah, Shepherd. But are you guys really lost, though? You're not really lost. You guys are more so put out.
We are all kind of missing something, wherever it is that we came from.
Mm-hmm.
I left, I'm self-exiled. Fang got put out before he had to kill everyone in the monastery. Even Royce is an outcast criminal who really doesn't belong in the criminal world or
right. He's kind of walking the line.
He's kind of right. He's in the middle. And Wisping is Eldrin was, a demonling, so he's kind of an outcast. Wisping is the only one that doesn't really fit into
that
outcast mold.
Yet.
Yet. Yeah, he's not really an outcast. He left of his own volition, but I mean, I guess in a way, because in the story, like his father wants him to come back, and he's like, "No, I'm not done yet."
Right, because you're living amongst those goofy humans.
Which is why I was about to mention I changed my crossing paths to time spent among men, man.
Okay.
I think that makes more sense.
Okay, that you did say that he was okay. But okay, well, all right. So let's see. I mean, I don't know. DBJ, it's what you want to work with, man. We've got some aspects that are kind of from his perspective and kind of from how the group perceives him as well. Which is kind of good because Royce has been kind of he's been put in this position, and from what I've been seeing, his not necessarily, well, yeah, kind of his motives and kind of what do I want to say, the people around him have had an influence on what direction he's kind of taken as well. That's what I'm trying to say.
But is he actually controlling that direction?
We don't know.
Right. I mean, he in many ways that's exactly what I wanted. Like he's not. he feels like he's not in control of his life from all directions, including the people that come into it. And I was thinking like Eldrin's character was kind of like him getting knocked on the head. Like, okay, really, you're gonna actually show me? You know, he's like looking up in the sky, like, okay, here's like this half demon person. Like, okay, you know, I get it now. Fine. You know, I'll help out, I guess. You know, kind of thing.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Like it's a sign or something almost.
Right. So I like Mantle of Reason though.
Mantle.
Yeah.
Okay, so why do you like that?
That's a stunt.
Because.
Well, hang on. Let's let Jimmy talk it out. Go ahead, man.
No. Just because it's like a combination of his more pragmatic life criminal side, and then combination of like the divine side, and he can think of that. He can come to he comes to conclusions in the middle where it's not all about faith and grace and looking up in the sky and everything's going to be nice, but then on the other hand, it's not all you know, darkness and death, and he's found that he has a way of being able to find things in the middle.
Okay. Well, Mantle of Reason and Guiding Light are kind of can say the same thing.
Right.
So we'll keep Mantle. So we still need we need one other aspect that, and it seems like you're kind of leaning more towards aspects that encompass Royce's connection with the group as a whole, as opposed to one person in particular, which is fine.
Right.
So we still need one more that connects him to his allies in some way. So not only has he been blessed by the rising sun, not only is he considered by his allies, and he's also starting to see himself being or wearing the Mantle of Reason. We need one other thing that kind of reflects his relationship to the group, or their relationship to him.
I still like the idea of him being like a shepherd.
Like he's definitely the leader of the group, I think.
Okay.
In like a moral leader, and also like when we don't know what to do, we're like, what is Royce going to tell us to do?
How do you spell shepherd? I don't even know. S-H-E-P?
S-H-E-P-H-E-R-D.
Okay, thank you. A-R?
E-R.
E-R? Okay. All right. Okay, so we know he's a shepherd, which means that he's a leader of some sort, a guide of some sort. But
it also implies, in a way, that we're kind of directionless unless he's there.
Yeah.
Like we don't know what we're doing, and we're kind of just following him around.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. That's good. Because that can be right there. That can be invoked and compelled right there. But now, once again, we're back to what kind of shepherd is he, or what is he a shepherd of? And we were saying, is he a shepherd of the lost? And it was like, well, I don't know. I mean, you guys tell me. I don't necessarily see you guys as being lost.
I kind of like reluctant shepherd, because it seems that, to me personally, he's always questioning, why me? Why should I? Why have I been chosen to do this? But yet he continues to do it. So it's like he reluctantly,
takes the responsibility.
Even though he's always questioning, why is he given all this? So that's just me.
Okay. Well. All right.
Okay. Let's go with because Dave, you mentioned Wayward Shepherd, and it's kind of a weird like juxtaposition of like a person who's a shepherd, but they don't know where they're going.
Yep.
Kind of. So I'll stick with Wayward Shepherd, because that way.
And
blind,
remember,
blind or something.
That sounds good too.
And remember, like I said, during gameplay, if something pops up and you go, man, that's much better. We can always, refine and whatever, revisit. Don't, everything isn't written in stone. So don't. I mean, we've got some good. You guys have some good aspects, and I know I take a lot of time trying to pull stuff out of you guys. But like I said, if something better comes to mind, please don't hesitate to, to speak up. So that's it. So we've got your redemption-seeking priest of Corona. We've got Vices is in his shadow. We've got blessed by the rising sun, wayward shepherd, and mantle of reason. So that'll do it for that. Then since as far as the skills go, I put I've got a skills list on the Obsidian Portal site, that you guys can see, and pretty much it's the basic skills. Some of them may be, one may have a little name change or whatever, but it's basically the basic Fate core skills. The only thing I did was I added the Arcana skill for the mages, and I added the Divinity skill for the priests. So the only catch is that for Royce, his Divinity skill would have to be at least 2, which is fair. Okay. Other than that, you guys can put the skills where you want them. Do you guys understand? Does everybody? If you guys, when you guys get a chance, go onto the Obsidian Portal site and click on characters, and you guys will see they've already got like the Fate character sheets that are built in already. When you get a chance to look, and you guys can plug in your stuff in there. Everybody gets 4 refresh. Okay. The only other thing, DBJ, is that you would spend 1 refresh for your divinity skill, which basically reflects your channeling ability between you and Corona. That's all.
Okay.
So really, actually, all you need to worry about is just how to place your skills, and we're using the basic skill pyramid from Fate. So you guys get 1 great skill at +4, 2 good skills at +3, 3 fair +2 skills, and then 4 average +1 skills. So that hasn't changed. So
he also gets some stunts too, right?
yeah,
but healing stunt.
once he figures out his skills and stuff, we'll have to go over that,
Because I could definitely see him with a healing stunt. That would only make sense for him.
Well, he's gonna have spells just like he had before.
Oh well, okay.
Yeah,
But I mean,
so.
okay, because I just remember like as the life priest or whatever, he had.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, what I'm gonna do, just so you know, DBJ, is that I'm gonna when I look at because I haven't translated everything over, but I'm gonna look at your since you were a priest of light, basically. What I'm gonna do, and I'll post it in the forum in Google, kind of like the options that you have. We'll try to translate the more so than mechanically. We're gonna go with the feeling of, we'll get as close as we can, but it's feeling more than exact translation. So you're gonna get 3 stunts for free, and then if you see something else that you may want to have, then you can buy an extra stunt for 1 free refresh. So, and you've always got to have 1 refresh left after all of this is over with, so that when the game starts, you have 1 free point. And that's it. So it's not gonna be, this was the hard part, basically, getting all your aspects together. Everything else is pretty much easy.
What do you think about the stunts that I got? I don't think I went over those. I actually think I came up with the 3rd one, but I'm not 100% sold on it just yet. But the first one, been the Aether, using will instead of athletics to dodge and attack, but I can only use it I can only use it if no advantage was created using Arcana. And I
Use
think
will instead of athletics to dodge an attack. Okay. Can only use if no advantage was created using Arcana. So
originally I came up with that second part when you were saying I needed to create an advantage before I cast a spell. That way it was kind of like, all right, if I'm pulling the ether, I can't cast a spell. Basically, is what it was, unless it's a little cantrip.
Well, since it doesn't apply because the casting is a little different.
Right.
So the important part is that you want to use will instead of athletics, since will is higher than your athletic skill. So that's pretty much what you want to do. But no, the thing is,
it needs to be a specific, situation where I can and situation where I can't. I can't just.
Well, the thing is that athletics is. Are you trying? And we could talk about this whenever. But are you trying to use this in a situation where somebody is attacking you with a melee weapon, or are you trying to do this as opposed to a spell, or are you trying to do this no matter what? That I use athletics to dodge instead of I use will instead of athletics to dodge.
I kind of saw it as like, he kind of pulls like the energy in, the mystic energy in the area, and essentially almost kind of pushes off of it like a wall. So I guess kind of for anything. Like he kind of, is able to kind of just use the magic that's like around him, and essentially just kind of, because he's kind of tricky. That's kind of how I kind of see him as I play him. So, he'll be able to essentially kind of push off of it.
But is he doing? Oh,
he's too powerful.
Yeah, no, he is. He's way too powerful.
I have to think about it.
Okay.
That's my answer for right now. Because as long as I know now what you want it to do and how you want it to be applied,
right?
I'm still thinking that.
There has to be a negative to it too. Obviously, you can't just.
Well, I'll say a negative. It just has to have a cost, is what you want to say.
Right.
I'll say it's negative. It just has to have a cost. But the thing is that you're saying that if someone were to shoot at Wisping with a crossbow bolt, that you want him to be able to summon up some kind of or manipulate the magic around him in order to avoid the attack, is pretty much what you're saying.
Yeah.
Which sounds like
a shield spell.
A shield spell to me. Right. Which you already have, because it's reactive.
Unless and you're trying.
What's the difference?
Wait, you're reaching.
I have.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have mage armor. I have shield. Yeah. So that's what.
You have a you're trying to do a stunt, right? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, that's what he's trying.
Yeah.
Okay. So call the stunt mystical deflection. That when in melee you can use your Arcana skill as defense against attack actions.
Yeah, that would be better. Instead of just saying will, you might as well do it like that. Because you got to explain, but give us reason for him to have that, because this is out of nowhere in Wisping's repertoire. Have you said that all of a sudden he can, use, because basically you're pretty much mimicking a spell that's there already. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing, though. He's a wizard. I didn't include it in his high. I didn't want to throw too many little things on top of him being part of the alchemy guild and all that. Yeah. But he is a what was he?
I don't know.
He's a transmuter, right?
Transmuter.
Okay.
Thank you. Which basically means he can essentially kind of change matter or alter things. So that's where I got that from.
So that's matter.
Is that magic or matter that he alters, being a transmuter?
Sounds like matter.
Okay, but in the caveat with all the I guess maybe like later level type stuff, but I mean they can get stuff to where I guess things that fall under transmutation would be things that essentially are like teleport type stuff, or that like a mystic step and all those kinds of things. And that's
Is that what you wanna? Is that what you're trying to do though? If that's what you're trying to do, then say that's what he's trying to do, which would make more sense as opposed to him. Well, I don't want to say, oh, this is what you mean. I want you to tell me, this is what I want him to, this is the ability I want him to do. You know what I mean? So if you want him to have like a teleport step or
dimension door.
Yeah, I mean that's fine, But okay, well, and then and we're gonna
because
wrap up here in a second.
I'm sorry, guys. The only reason I'm trying to figure this out because I know I get 3 stunts, and I'm trying to figure stuff that actually would make sense for him. Like the second one is Billow to my aid, which is simple. It's just +2 bonus to creating an advantage that includes Billow.
Okay, that's okay.
That's kind of
that's great.
Something typical for him. The third one I was thinking about, I'm not quite sold on it yet, but it's do you know who I am? Use context instead of provoke. But, I don't know as far as
That's yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I know what you're trying to do. Yep.
Right, because I mean, he tried to do that with old girl, but obviously didn't work.
Okay.
So
how about a stunt that lends itself towards improving your alchemy? So you may have Master Alchemist or Adept Alchemist or something like that, so that you get a bonus with your crafting when doing recipes.
That would make more sense in rounding Wisping out, but that being said, the only reason why I'm nitpicking, so to speak, and I don't want to say that, but I guess in a way I am, as far as that bend the ether stunt, is because I don't want to say it. There are spells that kind of already do that, and for there to be a reason for Wisping to have a stunt that is kind of intrinsic, or it's more of an ability of his as opposed to something else.
Okay,
I
understand. So in other words, basically, if I wanted to do something like that, I could seek out that spell and then incorporate.
Yeah. And for it would make more sense because there's nothing that, and I understand the transmuter thing, but being that that in my mind would be more of a lore type of thing for him to fall upon, or something that would enhance his magical casting. Okay, but for him to have a stunt that allows him to bend ether that really just is doing something that another spell would do, it's almost like he has an inner power that's letting him do this. It's because he's not casting a spell. He's doing something else. That's what I'm trying to say.
It'd be kind of like Eldrin and his hellish rebuke or something.
Well, unless so if you really want to reach, you can reach into your high elvish, lineage and say that elves can manipulate the ether, ether energy, and you may get +2 to create advantages related to manipulation of the ether, and you could use that to maybe put a shield on yourself or something. But then that turns into a power against.
That's fine. Now you guys brought up a very good point. It's not something that I really necessarily wanted to be innate in that regard. But I did like your idea, Jim, as far as a Master Alchemist, though.
And if you're doing the Master Alchemist, you've identified yourself as a transmuter as well. That's another step. So, you can get a bonus when you're casting spells that are of the transmutation school.
Yep.
Okay. So you think Master Alchemist would cover both transmutation and alchemy?
No. Those are two different ones. And I wouldn't call it necessarily Master Alchemist unless you are saying that your guy is actually a Master Alchemist. I mean, you can say that.
Yeah.
But when people come looking for you, because they want to kidnap you to make a love potion or something.
He can change lead into gold. What?
Yeah, get his ass. Throw you in a sack and carry you across the countryside.
Right. I might have to change Fang's Kung Fu Master to Kung Fu Apprentice.
Right.
Well, everybody always seeks out the master, so if you're saying I'm a master,
get beaten up.
And the thing is, remember, you guys are competent, in your craft. You aren't first level characters. You are competent guys in Fate. You are competent. You know what you're doing. You may not be the best in the world, but you know what you're doing. So yeah, if he wants to, say call it Master of Alchemy or whatever, that's fine. But yeah. So yeah, Joe. That as long as you understand where.
No, I totally understand where you're coming from. That's what I was asking, and like I said, originally I built it as something. I guess really the counter to it was the fact that you would have had to use build an advantage first. But since that changed, and it really doesn't even matter the fact that it changed. You're right, though. It'll be more like something that's indicative of his natural ability to do, as opposed to, his casting stuff. So,
right. Okay.
Yes, I think the other stuff works. I'm definitely gonna keep the Billow to my aid.
Okay.
Do you know who I am? Might keep that.
Okay.
But again, I'm kind of, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of Transmuter, but I also like Master Alchemist too. But I'm also thinking, I got a few aspects that I could pull out of for alchemy. That would be.
Well, you only have one. You got Billow to my aid, so you could have your Transmuter and your alchemy. Oh, but you did have Do You Know Who I Am too. Okay, so there's that one too. Okay, well, yep, you're gonna have to make some hard choices, man.
You've got Billow as an extra, and you've got Billow to my aid.
Yeah, he's got 2 stunts, 2 Billow stunts. Oh, okay, I didn't.
Billow's an extra, and then the stunt.
No, Joe, that would be Billow to my aid would be an advantage. It would be. Oh, you want a +2 to create an advantage? Well, I don't know. I guess you can do it. There's nothing that says you can't do it. So yeah, you can do it if you want to.
In the that's what I read. It, create,
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's just you have 2 Billow related stunts. That's all. You have an extra, and then you have a stunt. So same thing. So yeah.
That's true.
If you feel Billow is that it means that much to useful. You, then go for it. It's your choice. It's not.
Okay, so again, I'm sorry, I'm kind of holding everything up here, but so having Billow as my extra, right?
Yes.
Means
he already has aspects of his own, or an aspect and a trouble, or flaws they call it, of his own that can be invoked.
Okay, so
already.
Wisping's face, spirit, horned owl, familiar, whatever.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Okay, maybe that might be a mouthful, but
you're right, exactly.
So that being his high aspect, could use that, or always there at the worst time would be his trouble.
Yes.
All right, so I'd have to spend a fate point each time when I use those. All right.
Right.
Okay, but I can use those to do whatever.
Well, they're aspects, so whatever makes sense. Yep.
Okay.
Or he would be compelled to be in the wrong place, which would give you, which you would get an aspect, fate point for, rather.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Or.
Well, think about it. So you got, So
I guess whatever. I'm just hypothesizing. I'm looking at his high aspect. I'm like, how can I use that to compel? Or
no. Well,
it has to be his trouble.
No, it doesn't have to be. Hang on, I'm trying to find what I.
No, maybe it could be somewhere where it's like no pets allowed or something. I don't know.
So spiritual owl companion. Yeah, well, if he's a spiritual owl companion, I can think of a situation or two where that may cause you difficulty.
Yeah. Upon where we're at.
He's a fae. Yeah, he's a fae a fae spirit in a animal, body. Everyone might not take kindly at that. Everyone may not take kindly for you having a conversation with this owl on your shoulder. Oh, he's a spy. Oh, he's a demon. Oh, what. So I mean, there are situations where that can work against you.
Yeah. Okay.
No animals allowed.
Yeah, no, right.
I mean, there's that. I mean, there are, that owl is flying around harassing the archer that was getting a bead on you, so the archer pulls out a knife and slashes at Billow. That's, hey, Joe, that's your spiritual companion. You better run over there and help him out.
Yeah.
There you go. So trust me, there's plenty to work with that.
Okay. Man, so now I'm thinking maybe I should take out Billow to my aid.
Oh God. Okay. All right. All right. I'm gonna.
I'm sorry. I'll keep talking all night long. Sorry, guys.
Well, I'm gonna stop recording. So thanks, guys, for watching. And you don't have to go, Joe, but I'm a in the in the broadcast. So thanks for watching again, and talk to you guys later.